You know the scene. It's late. Your dog has a perfectly good bed, probably a really nice one that you spent way too much money on, and yet, there they are, sprawled out, taking up 80% of your mattress, leaving you clinging to the very edge. Yep, we've all been there.
So let's get into it. Why? They have their own bed, so why are they in yours? The easy answers, are warmth, it's just a habit, or maybe they're just a little bit clingy. But honestly, if you think that's the whole story, you are missing out on one of the most complex and ancient bonds on the entire planet. The real reason is so much deeper than you could imagine.
All right, so first things first. Let's just tackle that most common theory head-on, the idea that it's all about being warm and cozy. Because if it were just about that, your dog has plenty of other options, right?
I mean, think about it. If being warm were the only goal, a sunny spot on the floor, a fresh pile of your laundry, or even their own bed would do the trick. The deeper truth is all about vulnerability. For any animal, sleep is their most vulnerable state. It's a time when ancient instincts are basically screaming at them to find somewhere, anywhere that's safe.
And that is the absolute key. When your dog walks past every other quiet, warm corner of the house and chooses to sleep next to a human who's like 15 times their size, that is a profound statement. It has nothing to do with temperature. It is the ultimate expression of trust. They're telling you that you are the safest thing in their world.
Now, this behavior isn't just some fuzzy feeling or a gut instinct. It is backed by some absolutely incredible science. And this is where psychology and chemistry pull back the curtain and show us just how deep this connection really goes. So get this. Researchers in Budapest took a famous psychological test, one designed for human babies, called the Strange Situation Test, and they adapted it for dogs. And what they saw was just uncanny. The same desire to stay close, the same distress when separated, and the same sense of calm when reunited. The parallels were just undeniable. And the results? They were staggering. A full 61% of the dogs they tested were classified as having a secure attachment to their owner. That's a solid majority. But what does that number really mean? While that 61% figure is almost exactly the same proportion of human toddlers who show that same secure attachment to their parents. Let that sink in. Your dog's bond with you, scientifically, mirrors one of the most fundamental relationships in our own species. But it's not just psychology, it's straight up chemistry. A 2015 study from Azabu University found something amazing. When dogs and their owners just gaze into each other's eyes, both of them get a huge surge in oxytocin, the bonding hormone. And this creates a feedback loop. The gaze spikes the oxytocin, that makes you feel more bonded, which makes you want to gaze more. It just keeps going.
And here's the kicker. To prove how unique this is, researchers ran the exact same test with wolves that had been raised by humans their entire lives. The result? Nothing. Not a blip. The oxytocin loop just didn't activate. This is a bond that co-evolved specifically between our two species.
You see, this whole nightly ritual, it isn't some modern quirk of our pampered pets. We're talking about a behavior that has been shaped by thousands upon thousands of years of shared history. Dogs were the very first animal we ever domesticated. This was way before farming, before we even settled down. About 15,000 years ago, the friendliest wolves started creeping closer to human camps. And over generations, that relationship got deeper and deeper, which we know from this one incredible discovery from 14,000 years ago. And it all leads directly to the dogs we have in our homes today. In Germany, archaeologists found an ancient burial site. Inside were 2 humans and their 2 dogs. But one of those dogs, it showed signs of having survived a really severe illness, canine distemper, for weeks. This means that 14,000 years ago, someone was giving round-the-clock intensive care to a sick dog. These weren't just tools or working animals. They were family. In this bond, it's literally written in their DNA. Geneticists have actually found unique little snippets on a dog's chromosome 6 that are linked to hypersocial behavior, basically an intense desire to seek contact with humans. Wolves don't have this. Dogs were literally genetically shaped to want to be near us. Okay, so right about now, you might be thinking, that's all great, but my dog definitely ruins my sleep. And look, on an objective level, you might be right. But the science shows this fascinating paradox about what's really going on when we sleep with them. A Mayo Clinic study put clinical-grade trackers on people and their dogs. And yeah, the data showed that dogs objectively disrupt our sleep a bit with all their movements. And yet,
Almost every single person in the study reported feeling more secure, more comfortable, and even more rested with their dog in the room. The psychological benefit completely outweighed the physical disruption.
So what is happening here? Well, to get it, we need to look at something called heart rate variability, or HRV. It's basically a measure of your nervous system state. To put it simply, when your HRV is high, you're relaxed, you're regulated. When it's low, you're stressed out.
Now here is the mind-blowing part. A 2024 study out of Finland found that the HRV patterns of dogs and their owners physically sync up. Their nervous systems actually fall into rhythm with each other. When you get calm, your dog gets calm. And this effect was strongest when they were resting. So sleeping together isn't just comforting, it's a neurological event. You are literally co-regulating each other.
Okay, so now that we understand just how deep and hardwired this behavior is, it gives us a really crucial insight. Because if this ancient ritual suddenly changes, you absolutely need to pay attention.
A dog that's